Hello, Unity and Diversity. This is Dr. Lukowski. I'm here to provide you guys some feedback on your blog space. I'm in my office on a cold Sunday afternoon, drinking tea, and wishing I was back in San Antonio. So just a couple things as I look at the opening screen. I really like this opening image, in part because I know your post is about labor. Unity and diversity is an interesting title. I think like if you're really talking about labors and unions, it's effective. But to just say unity and diversity is kind of, I think, a blanket statement. So I know with WordPress you can kind of use a subtitle, and you might want to use that here to kind of make it more clear to your reader that your topic really is about not unity and not diversity, but labor. So really think about how you could use a subtitle to make that work. In looking at this page, I think it's very clean. I like that it's really evident where the posts are. There's lots of clear space. I like that you're using tags. I like that there's a search bar. I like the widgets are effective. I think that's really great. I think the email updates are good. You know, it's really interesting to me that a lot of people use calendar widgets, but I don't know what the point of it is. So consider maybe getting rid of the widget. I don't know if it's adding to your discussion, but just something to think about. But really, I think you're on a good track with the formatting so far. So let's pop into some of your posts a little bit. Activist arrested in Memphis protest. The first thing I want to say about this is all photos are by Daniel Valdez, former of Cultural Central of Memphis. I love that you guys gave this guy credit for his photographs. Some of your peers haven't done such a great job of that, and I think it's really important to be mindful that people deserve credit for the work they've done. I like that these are hyperlinks. I am going to say it's kind of hard to see that they're hyperlinks because the green isn't that different, but I think it's pretty obvious. On Tuesday, April 3rd, a group of activists from Rolling Block Parties. Who's Rolling Block Parties? Is that a page? Do they have their own page? Do they have a Facebook page? How do we know who they are? Led a protest in front of Shelby County Justice Center at 2 p.m. There's a typo here. They were protesting the mass detention of immigrants by ICE that has recently been reported in the city. Again, so I think most of your audience will know who ICE is, but has been recently reported in the city. Who's been reporting it? Can you link us to a news source? Because the protest was held in front of the Justice Center, is it a Justice Center or the Justice Center? The activists had no permits assigned to make the act a legal protest. Maybe the event a legal protest. The Memphis Police Department was informed that the protest beforehand and prepared. I think this is a good start. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I like the use of images here. I think you're doing a good job. I think this is effective. I like that there's a clear call to action. Yeah, I think this is a good start. I would say one of the things you could do here, you're talking about mass detention of immigrants by ICE. What would be more powerful to your audience is instead of telling us there are mass detentions, show us there are mass detentions. So I think maybe giving a statistic. So here you say has been recently reported in the city. Give us a percentage, like there's been an uptick in detentions, a 50% uptick or 100, I don't know what the percentage is. But I think that's the thing that maybe your page is missing. There's a lot of passion here and I really like that, but I would like to see more data, particularly in context with everything else we've been doing in the class. So the 8th protester was released Wednesday, which leaves, there needs to be a comma there, leaves Michael Duran as the last one being withheld. I think that's an improper use of withheld. So I would also say you might want to talk to Mary Clark and get some support for your, some editing support. I like the use of tags here. I think that's really effective. I'm going to say this about replies. You guys have a section of replies for each of your blog posts. You're going to want to make sure you're using those effectively, though. Like if you actually want people to comment, what you might want to do is start commenting yourselves, like having you have respond to one another's posts, even just briefly, or provide links to stories related to it, just so it's clear, like that kind of material is relevant to what you're posting. I am going to say this about that previous post, which I liked. Can you make it more clear of how it's related to labor? Because that's the goal of your page. I'm just saying. I love this opening image. Who's it by? One of the major hardships facing immigrants, especially undocumented immigrants in the workforce, is dangerous working conditions. In 2007, workers in the New York dairy industry were interviewed and experienced with their job. I think this is a good link. 68% of said injuries were serious enough to warrant a hospital visit. That's a great statistic. Did you get it from the story? You need to make it clear where that source came from. Also, you said they were interviewed. Who's this by? Is there an author? So you have Fox, Fuentes, Valdez, Purser, and Sexsmith. But they don't get any play here. So make sure when you're citing a source that the people who are actually writing it get some credit for that. Because here's the thing. The way digital publishing works now is if these people are trying to make careers in digital publishing, they actually go online and see how and where their stories are being distributed. And so if you don't give them credit for that, it doesn't help their careers. So you just want to make sure that they're getting credit for the work they have done. I think this is an effective short post, and I think it's good. Additionally, people can spread the word by posting what they've learned on social media and bringing a spotlight to this crucial issue. Maybe provide more clear links on how people could do that. I think one of the other things we've talked about repeatedly in this class, which is that raising awareness is inadequate. So maybe like even posting something like companies to avoid, companies to support. I also think there's maybe some clunkiness in some of your sentences here. So you're going to want to try to edit that a little bit. Again, good use of tags to get your work in. The words from Even Flores of Workers Interfaith Network. I think this is a good website or good post in a lot of ways. One, it's clearly related to the theme of your page. I think using a interview is an effective way to like give your audience a way of thinking about people's approaches to things. I'm going to point out one of the things to keep in mind for you guys is look at Ivan's responses. It's $7.25 in Tennessee. The server hasn't made $290. Like he's citing very specific, clear examples to support his claims. That's exactly the kind of thing you need to be doing when you're making your claims throughout your blog posts. And I think it's funny that he's like obviously being interviewed and he's just got this data at his hands, which is really effective. Again, maybe an image of him would be effective. Here we filed a complaint with the Department of Labor. We are here to help you. Can you link us to the Department of Labor? Why isn't there a hyperlink there? WIN has helped recover the stolen salaries of many Memphians and will continue to advocate for Rikers Works. That's great. I think that's an effective way to use this source. I'm also going to say you need to make it clear, maybe with more than just quotations, that his story ends here, just in terms of formatting. You can just use like a little widget here, a little graphic thing to make it clear that the interview is over. But overall, I think it's a very good start. I'm also going to say it's a little confusing. So Rachel posted it, but Eileen wrote it. Is that what's happening here? Contact info for Ivan. Info isn't proper or formal enough. So I would maybe use that. And also, where's his image? Does he have an image? Use that. Was he comfortable with you guys posting his cell phone on there? I would also say that's maybe something to consider as well. Lack of paid maternal leave. Pew Research surveyed Americans, good link to that. According to the findings of Relevant Ones, 7 Americans do not believe that men should be allowed paternity leave under any circumstance. This is effective. I think this is a good story. These 2 paragraphs are a little long for a blog post. I would also consider, how does this relate specifically to immigration issues? It seems a little kind of off topic. And if we look at all of your posts from the first one I read, which is about the arrests, to this one, there isn't a clear thing kind of hanging them all together. I'm also going to point out that you guys have the image here, but other than that, there's no other multimedia. There's no other images. There's no videos. So really think about, are there other ways you guys can integrate and exploit the affordances of the blog space for your own arguments? If we look at about the authors, I think you guys have done a pretty good job here. I would try to get rid of this white space around Rachel's page, and maybe make your images all kind of the same shape and size. Cut them all down. I like maybe make them all like a rectangle, and maybe even take a different image if that's necessary. Because look at Morgan's is completely different from everyone else's. So just make that kind of consistent for the sake of the reader. I like that you have contact information here. And then your missions and resources. I like that you have a list of useful resources, and I think that's an effective way to kind of continue your goals for the class. But go back through, make sure all of your stories are tied together in some way, shape, or form, whether it's just adding a little chunk to each one that makes it clear how it's related to your topic. And then make sure you're using the affordances of digital media, particularly blog posts, to make these more active and more interesting for your reader. But overall, I think you guys are right on the right track. Good job.